I want to read something to you because I think it's important. Um, Growing up as a very shy and quiet kid, I used to struggle naturally with keeping my position in friendships and even forming new ones. There were always kids that kind of already knew how to stand up for themselves or make a mark on, like they used to just they had something that made them more likable by other kids and just basically more extroverted. um and I was always, I don't know, I felt different than others, but not in a way like, oh my god, I'm so different than others, I'm so special, not in that way. More in kind of like way that I just felt like they had something I didn't have, and I didn't know how can I become, more social or more relaxed when hanging out with other kids and playing with them. Um, and also, I remember crying so much because um, when there were kind of like small surface level arguments with my friends, and I'm talking about like, I don't know, let's say I'm 5 or 6 years old. Okay, maybe a little bit older, but not a baby, okay, not 1 2 years old, already finishing daycare. Yeah. Um, yeah, when there would be some like arguments or with my friends, I never knew how to stand up for myself, and I always felt like they were always winning those arguments. They always had the last word, and it was just like very stupid. And I used to cry about it a lot because I felt helpless, and I felt like other kids are better than me because I am naturally a little bit introverted or shy. And it also didn't help when my mom said that it's not good to be like that and that I am weak, or, you know, it basically saying that I am weak if I am on a more shy side, and that I should try to forcefully change myself so I can be more like others and more extroverted. And even though this doesn't seem like such a big problem, it really was, because I always felt like everybody else knew how to function casually and um, talk to other kids casually and not be so anxious or not feel so insecure about themselves. And also, I'm reading the notes that I wrote yesterday. There were so many times where my peers used to say that I'm weird, but they could never even explain what they meant by that. They just noticed some wall between me and them, so it bothered them that I was the one observing. I used to feel even worse as I kept growing and being insecure about how I looked. Then I got more older, but still in primary school. So this is kind of like speed run through primary school. And after going through a hard time and thinking so much, I slowly started to push myself to be uncomfortable and to be seen for myself. I hated it at first. Um, but after a few years I started to get used to it. And even though I still get awkward or embarrassed sometimes in some of my social interactions, it's still a lot less, and now I don't feel embarrassed if I start to stutter in front of somebody, or I'm kind of more daydreaming and then somebody says something and then I'm still in my daydreaming state. So, the thing is, now I reached my goal that I am more relaxed and that I don't really give those things even a chance to live rent free in my head. And the point I wanted to make is that you should feel yourself and feel every feeling you have and every thought you have, and know that they are all valid, and that you should really just talk to yourself if you don't have anybody on your side that could understand you. And we are now in the age of internet. There are many things that helps me get more relaxed and be less anxious, socially anxious. So yeah, the only thing I wanted to change about myself is to just be relaxed. I still am a little bit shy and introverted, as I always was, but the difference is that I no longer feel embarrassed about it or bad about myself because I'm the way that I am. So, yeah, never feel bad if you felt different than others in a bad way from your perception. You are beautiful and your soul is beauty, and it is flow and it can mold into everything, and you can shape it however you want. Never let anybody drag you down, and don't accept crumbs on the table just because that's all that was handed out to you. You deserve everything beautiful because you are a human being, and it is true that you have to push yourself a little, and that starting is something is kind of hard at first. But when you realize how much you've changed and loosened up in the future, you will fully spread your arms to the sky and hug everything and love everything and every day that comes. Look around you. Look around and absorb the love and the humanity. Notice the way the water, what? Um, Notice the way you find heart-shaped water drops on the concrete while walking. And notice the way the trees are dancing with the wind and the way people hold hands and laugh. Make somebody's day and make yours too. You are love. So, I just realized how many mistakes there were in this text, so it was kind of harder for me to read it to you because I just realized some of the sentences didn't make sense, so I didn't read it. I read it differently than it was in my notes. So the point I wanted to make is, if you ever felt like you lack something, you don't. You're a human just like everybody else. And as the Smiths would say, I'm human and I need to be loved. So be loved and love yourself and accept yourself, because it is important. And if you have something that kind of bugs you about yourself and that you would like to change, not for others but for yourself, so you can make it easier for yourself, you can do that, and everything really is possible. And yeah, I don't know if this video made sense or if I'm even going to post it, but if you feel like you want to change something about yourself, you can do it, and you will feel so proud of yourself in a few years as you've seen your progress. So yeah, I'm also really tired right now, and maybe this video is a little bit boring. I only think I cooked a little bit at the end of the thing that I wrote in my notes, but yeah, I hope you get the message. Have a good night or day, and accept yourself.